The world is no longer on the brink of a Cold War. We now live in the eye of the storm of global destruction in 2026. As military artificial intelligence algorithms make split-second decisions over the battlefield, and hypersonic warheads are capable of obliterating capitals within minutes, the line between deterrence, Peninsula, and total escalation has collapsed. Welcome to the Last Military Zone, where we dissect the anatomy of global conflict without censorship. The year 2026 records the highest global defense spending in modern history, surpassing $2.7 trillion. The United States, with its combined Joint All-Domain Command and Control, JAG-2, Doctrine, deploys quantum-based autonomous fleets. On the other side, China, through the modernization of the PLA Strategic Support Force, is accelerating the integration of the Tianwan Combat Satellite Network, while Russia is staking its strategic nuclear deterrence doctrine on fifth-generation hypersonic missiles. This is no longer about who has the most soldiers. This is a race of algorithms, computing speed, and weapons autonomy. Conventional military doctrine is obsolete. The question is, when humans hand control of the nuclear trigger to autonomous AI systems, is humanity counting down to mass extinction? Let us dissect the first pillar of global destruction, hypersonic dominance 2026. Speeds of Mach 5 to Mach 10 are no longer merely laboratory tests. Russia's Zircon-M hypersonic cruise missile and China's DF-27 are now fully operational on the strategic front lines, creating a nightmare for conventional air defense systems such as Patriot and Aegis Ashore. Traditional air defense systems are designed to detect the parabolic trajectories of conventional ballistic missiles. However, hypersonic glide vehicles are capable of changing direction mid-flight at hypersonic speeds. The reaction time that was once measured in hours has now shrunk to less than 180 seconds. The United States is not standing still. Through the Hypersonic Weapon, AHW, program and the Next Generation Glide Phase Interceptor, GPI, the Pentagon is racing against time to close this strategic defense gap. However, global defense analysts agree, the shield always arrives later than the spear. The second pillar that keeps generals in the Pentagon and Beijing awake at night is AI-based military autonomy. The year 2026 saw the full operationalization of the advanced version of Project Maven and autonomous suicide drone swarm systems powered by high-capacity neural networks. In a 2026 air combat simulation, AI-controlled unmanned fighter jets were capable of performing maneuvers of up to 14G, exceeding the physiological limits of human pilots. Tactical decisions, target selection, and even attack escalation are now executed within milliseconds by algorithms, eliminating human moral hesitation on the battlefield. However, what happens when military algorithms experience hallucinations or are compromised by advanced cyber warfare? The risk of accidental escalation is now at its highest level since the Cold War. AI has no empathy. It only calculates the probability of victory. Let's look at the flashpoints where all this deadly technology directly intersects. The first hotspot, the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea. The PLA's massive-scale Joint Sword 2026 joint exercises demonstrated the capability to impose a total maritime and air blockade in less than 48 hours. The United States and its allies, AUKUS and the Quad, respond by deploying strategic fleets and a distributed network of bases across the first island chain. The conflict here is no longer merely a regional territorial dispute, but a struggle for global hegemony over semiconductor supply chains and maritime supremacy in the Indo-Pacific. The second flashpoint lies on Europe's eastern border. The prolonged proxy war has mutated into a laboratory for cutting-edge military technology. Electronic warfare, EW, systems in the region are so intensive that they are capable of disabling civilian satellite navigation systems across Central Europe. Long-range precision artillery and loitering munitions are turning the ground battlefield into a transparent killing zone. There is nowhere to hide. Every electromagnetic signal emission is immediately met with an autonomous artillery strike. And don't forget the Middle East, where sophisticated armed proxies and precision-guided ballistic missile technology are turning the Persian Gulf into a geopolitical minefield. Disruptions to global energy supply routes could bring down the world economy within days. If we map global military power in 2026, we see a tripolarity of power: the United States with global network superiority and deep alliances, China with massive defense industrial capacity, shipbuilding dominance, and integrated AI, and Russia with an edge in strategic warheads and experience in high-intensity asymmetric warfare. These three powers are locked in a deadly security dilemma. Every modernization step by one side is perceived as an existential threat by the others. The world is dancing on a powder keg, waiting for one small spark to trigger a global explosion. Artificial intelligence, hypersonic weapons, and uncompromising geopolitical ambitions have turned the Earth into a permanent red zone. The question is no longer whether a major conflict will occur, but rather how close we are to the final moments of human civilization. What do you think? Can diplomacy still save the world from the eye of the 2026 storm, or have we already passed the point of global moral bankruptcy? Write your sharp analysis in the comments section. If you hunger for uncompromising military facts, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join the ranks of global defense observers with the Military Show. See you on the next investigative mission.
Watch me!